Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Bugbear's Basement. Now today we've had our boss in charge is busy working, so we're not going to be actually doing Elotero episode 10. We're just going to come on and chat for a little bit, see how everybody's doing. This is we do have some different folks over here than we do on the other side, so I thought, oh, why not? Got the chance. Might be fun to have a little chat with this group that comes over here. I see we got Victor over in the chat. Hello, Victor. How you doing? And who else we got over here? We got Flying Saucer. Nice. But yeah, we just thought we'd come on and say hi and have a little bit of chat. Bugbear question exclamation, Victor. Well, I picked that up when I picked that up because I was a linebacker. And it's a New England joke, I guess. It doesn't really translate well to the rest of the country, but a bugbear is kind of an English thing. I know for all, and it's appropriate for the D&D thing. I get that, but it's actually meaning something that causes you consternation and trouble. And that's I just picked it up. But anyway, I've kind of had that for most of my life. Victor says, I say aliens are going to come down by the end of this week. Maybe. All right. Are you guys here with me? Slick and Ninja, how you guys doing?
I'm here.
Oh yeah, I'm here as well. And on the aliens topic, one can only hope.
Yeah, one can only hope. Yeah, sure. It's a perfect time for an invasion. Now, I know that I have having a little bit of trouble over here, but it looks like it's flowing nicely right now. Let's see here. I got my 500 Magnum ready. Sweet, dude. I'm gonna be hiding underneath my bed. Well, that's probably not the best place. But put your
His
wall up against the
500.
back up against the
His
wall.
500 Magnum.
It's
Okay.
probably what some company's brand of gun. I would assuming it's
Or,
he's either making a joke or it's maybe a 50 cal or
and there's a fifth Smith and Wesson 500. Yeah, that
oh,
might be
there you
what
go.
he's referring to.
Yep.
It's a bit of an overkill gun.
DeWolf says, "Sup? Hey,
Well,
what's up, dude?"
when it comes to killing aliens, overkill isn't a thing.
Yeah, you want to do overkill, you use a shotgun.
Oh, DeWolf is. Did I miss the news this morning? Is something going on with Yellowstone Caldera?
Yeah,
It's a
there
problem,
have been.
huh?
Yeah, there have been earthquakes.
There have been. Oh, I see. Well, yeah,
Um,
because I've been getting earthquakes all night over here. They're little ones. We get them all the time, but we've had a good stream of them. I'd say since let's see, about 11 hours ago, I think it started, and we've probably had I don't know, a dozen, something like that.
Dang.
But
was it active again? Because it was just a couple days ago they had tremors up there in Yellowstone.
well,
I
I don't
just
know
wondered
about
if the
Yellowstone. I'm
wolf
talking
stand has
about me
happened
here in
today.
Japan. Yeah,
Um, um,
but we do,
Yellowstone.
of course, we react to what happens on the other side of the rim, right?
Yeah, I mean if it goes off, I'm Salt Lake is just inside like the double ring. I'm in the third, um, and we will get serious ashfall if the blast doesn't come ripping through here.
Oh yeah.
You know, because something like that would have uh, a really nasty blast, and then it would all kind of float. It would radiate out, and then it would move across the United States, and
Mhm.
basically would probably destroy the United States.
Well, you're guaranteed that thing's going to pop in the next 10,000 years. No,
Yeah, I mean
no question.
it's
It
around that.
will pop. How big a pop it will depend. They know from studying it that it's had big pops and it's had medium pops and it's had little pops. So it's really not. And of course, 10,000 years is a very long period.
Yeah,
But
geologically
geologically,
it's not,
yeah, it's
but
not. But it could pop any day, or it could be generations from now. But it will go. It will go.
yeah,
And Flying
and
Saucer has his condoms prepared for the aliens. That's good, dude.
oh, that's what he was talking about,
Safe
his
thinking.
magnums.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah, yeah. I didn't know they gauged them like that. Actually, I haven't used a
No, it's just a
condom in,
company brand called Magnum.
geez, 25, 26 years. I haven't used a condom.
Yeah, when you got what you need, you don't have to have them
Oh yeah, I
anymore.
mean, I'm married, I got a wife.
Yeah.
So, but because we went the I don't know if it was smart route, but because we had two kids, we had a girl and then a boy. So good, we got a matching pair.
Mhm.
And but my wife, she's I mean, she's a trooper. She's a really good lady, but She's one of those rare ladies that has morning sickness from day one to the last day.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fun.
and that's rough, dude. Because morning sickness for those ladies, most of them in the first trimester, it ends, right? But
Yeah,
every trimester you go in, that morning sickness gets worse and worse and worse if it doesn't
yeah.
stop. So it's
I had a
just
cousin
too
like that.
brutal. So we actually did a tubal ligotomy. So
Yeah, I had a cousin like that, and she had one child. Um, she's one of those ladies when she had the kid, and like it was like 2 weeks later, and she looked just like her model stuff. She was a model, and the doctors basically said you can't do that because the child was taking up all of her reserves because she wasn't able to. Um, she wasn't able to put on pounds the way she should,
oh
and
yeah,
so,
well, you
so
know, women, they carry the child, and even though this might sound strange, especially since there's so many fathers sitting in here, but a baby is actually a parasitical organism inside the woman. It
mm,
literally functions like that, and it will suck the life out of them. Some women have a lot of trouble.
yeah.
It's quite difficult. Yeah.
Man,
Yes.
My cousin Ruth, she was sick the entire time, just like your wife.
Yeah, no, it sucks, dude. And good on her for wanting to do it again, but we can't. We just decided, made the decision. We probably would have had three, or we probably would have had at least three kids, but
Yeah,
we had two. It's all right.
odd numbers are better than even, actually, because
Oh well, the good thing about my kids though is that worked out really well in our favor. Of course, we did our job. We raised our kids, properly, educated them in every single way. But the thing that really helped is my daughter, and this is kind of a natural thing. You can teach it, you can train the habit of it, but there's also an instinctual aspect. My daughter is extremely studious. I mean, to ridiculous levels, right? She's like me. I can't, in a way, I can't stand when things aren't straight. You understand what I mean? I'm always straightening things. And my wife, she has
oh,
it's her
you have a
greatest
little bit
joy
of
to
OCD,
turn
right?
things catty cornered. Huh?
You have a little bit of OCD,
I
right?
guess I do. But it also comes into my studiousness, right?
Uh-huh.
And I keep meticulous notebooks, right? And the creepiest thing, dude, I taught my daughter all kind of stuff, of course, but when she started getting up in the years where her brain's really clicking, right? And
Right.
I looked at her notebook, and it's exactly like mine. How she writes, how she sets it up, what she does in the margin. It was creepy, dude.
That
It's
sounds like my best
genetic
friend's
memory,
sister.
dude.
It sounds like my best friend's sister. When you look at her notebooks, they look like they're typed in little teeny print.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
You're
like
just
me.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't stand when things aren't straight, dude. I can't. I'm sorry. It's just who I am. But anyway, my daughter's extremely studious, right? And she's fair. She's a fair average smart for the here. She's not a genius kid, but she's her studiousness makes up a lot, right? My son,
As
on
they
the other
usually
hand, is not particularly studious. He's more like his mother, but he's scary smart, right? And the combination of those two things, those two kids got along so well. They're like best friends, right?
do. Nice. Cool.
And it just worked out. It just incredibly worked out. Where we had no drama in the house. The kids were well disciplined.
Man, you
I
got
got lucky,
lucky.
dude. I got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Yeah, I
had
wish
really
my
no
kids
drama.
were like that.
What do you go ahead, Ninja?
Oh, I wish my kids would be like that.
There's
They
there's luck
fight
involved, Ninja.
constantly.
There is, dude. Yeah, but it also it's parenting as well. I mean, you got to do your job. You got to stay on top of it. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Right.
Yeah. Structure for children really helps a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, if they feel like they're kind of vacillating out in some unknown realm because the parents aren't doing their job of providing the stability and support, uh, yeah, they can go off the rails real easy.
Oh yeah. Well, and you and I, Slick, we come from the age of dad tanning your ass, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah. Now, and the funny thing with it is, I'm not anti corporal punishment, especially if the parent isn't angry. Like with my dad, he never struck me or disciplined me when he was angry. He never did. Right.
He was doing it as
Well,
something that need to happen, right?
well, sure, it's part of that generation's teaching
Right.
method, right? So I have no problem with it actually, but I didn't never use it. I never had to hit my kids, dude. I
Yeah.
use the simple thing. They had to stay in the corner. They had to be quiet. Of course, they're always crying and turning around, and it's I'm only going to stick them there 10 minutes, right? But for a kid, that's an eternity.
Yeah.
But what I always did to follow it up with, that I think was really useful, is I made them come over and stand in front of me, and even sit down for it. I wouldn't stand because I'm a big guy, so I'd sit down so it was a little bit more eye level, and I would make them tell me what they did wrong, and that could take forever too, right? Because they don't want to admit it, but they
Hmm.
can't leave from front of my presence until they tell me what they did wrong. Then I give them a kiss and a hug and let them go on their way. And this system, by the age of 8 or 9, I don't think beyond that I had any trouble whatsoever at all. It
Well,
worked really well.
once you teach them properly and they know kind of the rules, um, and a strong male presence,
Oh yeah.
the people underestimate what a strong male presence can do in a family if he's not a tyrant.
Oh no, no,
Um,
you can't be an asshole.
right,
Asshole beget asshole, right?
yeah, if you are there and then they can constantly rely on you to be, this lighthouse of strength, and it is something that most people do not want to admit right now, that men are, that's how they are, and they put all this stuff on women, which women provide many things, but that type of father figure that can always be relied on to be strength and be have kindness but fairness but firmness, and
Sure.
a lot of families don't have it. They just don't have it because either the father is too selfish and too angry or whatever it is.
Or is
But when
not
it
there.
happens, yeah, or is not there, he's constantly gone doing whatever he thinks he should be. He doesn't return, or he does other terrible things to upset the family. But
John,
when
you're hold on a second. It's like, John, your daughter is like 1. What? Go ahead. Sorry.
what is
He
John
says,
saying?
My kid's dumb as hell. She can't even figure out how to write her own name. She can
Yeah,
barely
and
walk, John.
she's still in a high chair probably.
Yeah.
Um,
He's just being
so
funny. Yeah.
okay, but I mean that's the type of thing that people just forget, and I've seen it. I've come from a place where it's still fairly patriarchal because Mormons are kind of like that. But I've seen the differences between a good father and a father that neglects his duties or abandons them entirely, and you see it in the families. This just absolute strength. The core of the nuclear family revolves around the man in that particular way, and then all the other minutia stuff, the glue, that's the female.
Sure. Yeah, no, no. You need both, right? And in truth, if you go and study it, patriarchy is what you need. You don't want matriarchy. You want patriarchy. The problem is all this stuff that they keep saying patriarchy and pointing fingers. That's not patriarchy. The things they're complaining about is not patriarchy. That is just assholishness, right?
Yep.
So I don't know
I
what it's on
agree.
about, but I don't know why we're talking about this. But yeah, I don't care. We came
Well,
on
then
just to
we,
chat,
we
so
we just kind of meandered into it. So
and we did. Can't cook either, Dewell says. Well,
DeWolf can't cook.
I think he was talking about his wife, maybe.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's a good question, though. My wife, when we first met, she could cook some Japanese things, but she wasn't an all-around cook. I was actually far a better cook than her, because I was a single man, and there's no one to cook. No one to cook anything for me, so I got to cook myself. So I learned, and I kind of thought it was fun, actually. But I taught her how to cook a lot of things, and now, of course, because she's a mom, she's way better cook than me, way, way better. And I'm thankful for it. And of course, probably would be 10 kilos lighter if she wasn't such a good cook.
But you still are the grill master. You have to be the grill master.
Oh no, no, I do meat but much better than she does, but she's become quite good at that too. Practice, right? But it's
Mhm.
interesting. I think a lot of relationships start like that, where the man is actually a better cook in the beginning, because the single man, has to do that, and the girls tend to stay home longer, right?
Yeah, it
Um,
does. It does depend on where you grow up. I know
Yeah,
Mormons.
I don't know about that. I'm still a better cook than my wife.
oh
Well,
well, oh, okay.
Mormons tend to be kind of share that thing. I know how to do the outdoor kind of cooking, and I know how to use a skillet. when it comes to like baking and stuff, I can follow a recipe, but I can't do like maybe I just don't have enough patience to do all the bells and whistles. I just want to
Uh,
make something that tastes
maybe.
good, you know.
Yeah. Well, no, I definitely bake better than my wife, but she's not much of a baker. But she does all the other stuff really well. How about you, Thundera? What between you and your wife, who's the better cook, dude?
It depends on what we're cooking.
Oh,
If
okay.
baking, she's definitely better. Meat, she's better at that, except for grilling. And she's a vegetarian, but pretty much anything else, I'd say I do better.
And she doesn't force you to be
Literally
a
everything else.
vegetarian, I hope, right?
No,
Good.
she doesn't force me to do anything, Jimmy.
Okay, I'm just saying. It's like
Yeah, but she's a vegetarian, not a vegan, right?
Okay, God.
Yeah. She's only a vegetarian because
Okay.
literally it's not like some political stance or something. It's just she can't tolerate the thought of killing an animal to eat it.
That's
Okay.
fine.
So she won't eat one, even store bought.
Well, let me give you a little fuel there, Thundero, so you can use it in the next fight you have, if you have fights. Keep in mind that plants feel pain and they actually scream from it.
She knows. She doesn't care.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So
she
she's
actually
just
the
double
reality is she
standards.
does care, but she has to eat something. So if it's going to be anything, it's not going to be the cuddly cute animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what is her racial makeup? Because some humans can eat
She's
can do.
Irish.
Oh God. Well, she needs a little bit of protein in there.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
doesn't eat
she
fish. Does she eat fish?
what we usually do for that, no animals at all. If she can avoid it. What we usually do is she'll get, like lentils or things like that and mix it in with her other stuff that she's eating.
She take a pill?
No, well, not for that.
You got Ninja to laugh. How about you, Ninja? What's the deal in your? We're talking about families, I guess. So, what's the deal in your household, man?
No, everybody here is just an omnivore, though kids are pretty picky.
Sure.
Most vegetables, they'll eat most vegetables except for salad. Like they won't eat fresh salad
Really? Huh.
as a group. Yeah, well, they're weird about it. Like one of them will, the other two will not. They
No,
just
they'll
turn
get
their
over
nose
it.
up to it like it's something disgusting. But
I think everybody has a different palate, though. So I mean, that's all right.
Yeah.
And there are
Well,
things that.
but
Go ahead.
think
well,
about
no,
the
no.
kids meal or kids menu at any restaurant you go to. That's pretty much their favorite foods.
I see. Well, I mean, they will get over it, but of course, a child's palate is ever developing and growing as they get bigger. So they'll change. We all do, of course. But the problem for me is, and it's the saddest thing on the planet, dude. For me, is from my point of view. We all have senses, right? And some people are better at other things. Like, for instance, without my glasses, I can't see worth anything. I'm blind as a bat, right? So my eyes aren't great. My nose isn't good, is I guess average. My sense of touch is normal. My hearing, I can hear like a crowd of people, and I can hear each individual voice. I can pull that out, but I think all musicians can do that. I don't think that's something unique, but I do have a super sense. I do, and it's a horrible thing. My taste buds are in that category of super taster, right? And that sounds like a good thing, right? I probably could get a job off of it,
Mm.
but it's the worst thing ever, dude, because all the flavors are super intense and I can taste all the different flavors. Therefore, I am super finicky because of it. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing, dude. Don't wish that on your worst enemy, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it sucks.
I have certain things I don't like, but I'm pretty open to just about anything to try
Yeah,
at once.
yeah, most people are. Yeah.
But I know people that won't do that. That they will not. They eat what they like. That this little slim sliver of all the tastes that you can do and mixtures thereof.
Yeah,
But that's
people
all
with
they eat.
childlike palates.
Yeah, seriously,
Yeah.
they never grow up, and
Yeah.
it's really weird to me because to me, like whenever I travel, I'm enjoying the new sensations, and if I like it, I don't. Like when I went to Italy, I had an arugula sauce on stuff, and basically that's like pureed like radish, the kind of like it has a bite. I didn't like it, but this girl that I was with thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I'm like, okay,
Sure.
And I've never gotten to the point where I don't like stuffing, the stuff for Thanksgiving. I don't like it. I don't like it soft. I don't like crispy. I don't like it. I don't like whatever the hell they're putting in it. Then the mixture of it does not make me appetizing. It doesn't make my tongue
No,
do backflips.
I understand. I do. How about you, Thundera? What's the general cuisine in your house? What do you guys agree you both like?
Um, just generic like American food, like mac and cheese, steak. Well, I
Yes.
eat the steak and noodles. She just eats the noodles. Chicken of any whatever. We have to eat two different things usually because she's vegetarian. So what we'll do is we'll make one like pasta or rice or something, and then she'll use her vegetarian meat or whatever it is, fake chicken, fake beef, whatever, and then I'll use real meat, and we'll make it that way. So
Yeah.
just stuff like that, stuff that's easy to put together and easy to make for leftovers and stuff. I'm not usually too fancy. I'll often have a steak. That's about as fancy as I get, is a nice steak.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I told you we need to do some Kobe beef one of these days. It's like really expensive if you get the actual real stuff,
Oh,
but
dude.
it'll probably it just kind of breaks you for any of the beef ever.
Oh, you're such a tourist.
It's
Dude,
good, man. I
no,
love
Kobe
it.
beef is like the lowest grade in Japan. There's so
Well,
many
okay,
beefs that are
like
better than
I've
Kobe,
been to
dude.
Japan once, so lay off. I don't know. I know that there's more like besides besides Paris, there's more Michelin star restaurants than anywhere else in the world. Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
Oh yeah.
Tokyo takes their food really
Oh,
serious over there.
Japanese do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing if you can palate it. But no, it's the best beef in Japan. I mean, Bungogu, it's actually where I live. It's pretty good. I wouldn't consider it in the top. I don't know. It's top five. Maybe it's in the top 10. It is really good. But actually, the best beef in Japan is akagyu, which means red beef. That stuff is ridiculously badass, and that's on the west side of Kyushu in Kumamoto.
Well,
It's
if
nowhere
I
near
come to visit
Kobe.
you, you're gonna have to take me there because I
Yeah.
paid a lot of money for the wagyu that I got. So
Oh no, no,
uh,
and Kobe is not is fine. All the wagyu just simply means Japanese beef, right?
yeah,
All of that is coming out of Kobe because there was some connection. It was made long. I don't know the history of it, but something with the West and Kobe happened, and so all the Westerners have this Kobe beef or what they call wagyu. But there's a lot more variety of beef in Japan, and it's quite spectacular. I don't even know how they make money. It's expensive as hell. But the how they treat those cows. We got a farm near us actually, and they've always got a couple dozen cows walking around, and that beef is really expensive too. I mean, for a single steak, it's $50. So,
I paid 100 for what I ate. So
oh
I had
no, so have
I
I.
got I
Yeah,
got a tenderloin, real nice thick, like a half pound of tenderloin, and it cost me 105.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
The most expensive I ever had was a porterhouse, and it was 250 or something like that.
oof, there you go.
Yeah, it's
Where was
expensive.
that at?
That was up in Fukuoka,
Hmm.
which is
Well,
the
see,
best food city in Japan. So,
if you were to take me to the best beef, I would shell out for that, and
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
once in a lifetime experience, because they
I'm far too frugal for these kind of tastes.
when
For
I
something that I'm
travel.
going to turn into poo, I am not paying $105.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to turn
Did you get?
immediately into poo.
When I travel, I like to experience things as much as I can within reason, of course, because I'm not made of money. But I
Mhm.
will set aside a certain
Sure.
amount to experience,
Yeah.
And if that is the best beef that can be found, I want to taste it.
Yeah. I mean, we eat frugal day to day. This is just
Yeah,
occasionally, right?
yeah.
But I mean,
It's not like
Benji,
I'm.
you
Go ahead.
should take some
Yeah.
time in your life every now and then and splurge on some really good food. And not it isn't a daily thing. It's a every now and then thing. But you should splurge some money on because you don't understand the difference between what you eat day to day and something that you go and you spend, $500,000 on a meal. It's different, dude. And you should
No,
experience that at least
yeah.
once in your life, dude.
When I went to Maine, I got a 4-pound lobster tail,
Mm.
and it's the sweetest lobster I've ever had, and it just had butter. and salt, and that was it. And I paid for it. It was not cheap, but 4 pounds of lobster was awesome. It's a big old
I
tail.
can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you're
they
from the
had
Midwest, so yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, they have bigger lobsters, but these
they do. I'm just saying it's because you're not used to it. People on the East Coast would have a different opinion. What's the main kind of cuisine you have in the Midwest there, Slick, that the Easterners wouldn't get?
I'm not in the Midwest. I'm in the West.
Well, okay, the West. So
Um,
what do you have there that the Easterners can't get?
Easily, I
Yeah.
can pick up bison or elk pretty easily.
Very
You
good.
know, we have orchards and stuff, but that anybody can find that. But the elk stuff, like elk is really really good, and occasionally get moose too. Bison, corn-fed bison is very nice meat, super lean, and it's you can get a steak if you want it, 3 inches thick, pretty easily in a tenderloin. So there you go.
Yeah, I've had bison before. It wasn't bad. Well, we know one meat I did try that I'll never do again is bear.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
Ew.
supposed to
really?
taste.
Yeah, it
It's
was not
supposed to
good.
taste. Ow. Okay, I've got a tax. Get the freaking cats all over me. Get the hell away from me.
I hear Cat's pretty good, Chester. You lived in Asia your whole life, pretty much. How's Cat?
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
that's only like over in China and Korea. Japanese don't eat cats or dogs. I've never
Just
eaten it.
horses, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
just
no, they
horses.
just eat
Yeah.
horses, and it's disturbing as
Yeah.
hell, dude.
So
Yeah.
when did you have bear?
Really?
I
But
mean,
why
I've
is
had bear
horses
too.
disturbing to eat?
Well, okay, one question at a time. Ninja.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Ninja.
No, go ahead, Ninja.
Oh, but why would horses be that bad to eat?
Are you an
Is it because
American?
they're so
Where are you
smart?
from? Where are you from?
Yeah.
Estonia or something?
No, just the good old USA.
We don't eat trigger, Ninja.
Yeah, I
No.
had horse in Mexico. They eat it down there. So
They do, they do. No, actually,
Oof.
one of my first visits to Japan and to her family, they put on this big spread to try to impress me, right? You know, the new son-in-law, right?
Oh no.
And my God, dude, it was a nightmare thing. And of course, I have to eat it, right? I got to shut up and
you
smile
have
and
to eat it.
oh, thank you. You know, you have to do like that. Oh, it was a nightmare, dude. But yeah, the bear thing. Someone asked me about the bear thing. I used to go hunting all the time. It was really my hobby for a long time. And of course, you eat what you kill, right? And
Right.
I've
Mhm.
actually gone out to Colorado and done some. I think it was Colorado elk hunting. Somewhere out there, but I used to go hunting deer hunting down in Pennsylvania all the time, and
Oh,
we
neat.
also got a tag and we went and we shot a bear. We got, of course, and you use all parts of the animal, of course, and we share it around the meat and all that kind of stuff. But bear, don't eat bear. It's greasy and
I, I've
horrible.
I've
Yeah,
I've had bear.
Oh,
My great uncle he prided himself on having his larder not have beef. That everything that they ate was something that they had shot themselves.
uh-huh.
And I guess I'd never heard of him shooting a longhorn, wild. But anyway, he had a bear one year, and it was a brown bear. And whatever he did to it, it actually wasn't too bad. It tasted more like pork, uh, in his from his kitchen. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't care for
neat.
it. Cat and rabbit taste the same. Flying Saucer says. I don't know. I've had plenty of rabbit though. Rabbit's
I've
good
never
meat.
had cat, never had dog, so I don't know about that. Had rabbit though.
I'm curious what Thundero's eaten because I have a feeling that he's probably a snake eater. Go ahead.
Sure. I've had snake.
No,
I've
I'm a
had
snake.
rattlesnake.
I'm a snake killer. I kill snakes whenever I see them. Literally, I hate snakes. Um, no, we eat literally anything here. So one of the advantages of being in the center of the country, you kind of get and right next to the lakes, you kind of get a wide swath of culinary, food. Like it's obviously we can get anything you can get pretty much anywhere else. If you go to those places in the country, though, they're usually better. But you can still get it here if you want it. So I mean, if I wanted, I could go. There's places I can go eat crawdad. There's places I can go eat like lobster, like fresh lobster, fresh fish right out of the lakes, like all kinds of stuff. So it's one advantage to living by the largest bodies of water in the world
Sure.
is you pretty much get access to anything. except for like crazy stuff like squid, or I can get that, but it's not fresh, and I don't like it anyway.
No, it sucks.
But yeah, we pretty much can get access to anything. What I tend to eat though is I'm a big pasta guy. I love pasta. It's to my detriment because I don't work out like I should anymore. So I have all these carbs and calories that I'm not burning. But I love pasta. It's my favorite thing, and it can be just about any way you want it to. Like it can be simple butter garlic. It can be put some cheese in it. You can use tomato sauce, meat sauce, cream sauce. Although cream sauce and I have a interesting relationship now that me and lactose aren't friends.
Oh, no.
But I mean, I love it. You'd think I was Italian. I guess it's the Austrian Swiss in me, kind of like right there on the border. I got enough of their cuisine in my blood that I want it. But I love Italian food. One of the food I don't like, and there's a ton of it here, is Mexican food. I can't stand Mexican food.
Really?
Save for a few exceptions, no. I don't like tacos. Burritos are okay, but tacos don't do it for me. Pretty much anything else, enchiladas, none of that stuff does it for me. No. I like tamales and burritos. That's about it. And nachos, but everybody likes nachos. They're just cheese and chips.
That's right.
So other than that, yeah, I'm just not a big Mexican guy. But pretty much every other kind of food I've ever tried, I found something there I liked. Like when I went to the Middle East, they eat all kinds of crazy stuff, and I found stuff there I liked. And they have like, when we were in Israel, the hotels there would have like these big spreads of like different kinds of bread. Oh my God, it was so good. The bread there is unbelievable. I've never had anything like it. Anywhere else I've been, I've never found bread that was as good as this bread.
I like the candies there in the Middle East. It's really good with you as well. Very nice.
Well, it's something that's interesting with what you just said there, Thundero. It's interesting this cycle we're in, this cultural cycle we're in. It actually goes back to Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire. I know you go, oh my God, here he goes again. Now, hold on, give me a second. No, seriously, all the cuisine that around the world that is eaten is coming out in one way or another from Constantinople. It's really, if you track the root of all the modern dishes and food, it's all coming out of Constantinople. And even earlier human food traditions are coming out of the same region. And that includes pretty much every Chinese dish you've ever had. Its origin is actually coming out of the Middle East. It's not coming out of China at all. It's pretty fascinating, the study of food history, if you guys are ever interested. Anyway, DeWolf says roux is good. Actually, kangaroo is excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
I like an ostrich is. I really enjoyed the ostrich steaks I've had.
I never had that. Yeah.
But very, very dense meat, but very flavorful. So.
Yeah. That's it. That's cool, dude. Why did you go to the Middle East? And if you guys are wondering why we're talking about family and food, it's because if we talk about anything else, it's going to go straight to hell. That's why.
My parents I grew up in a very religious home, independent Baptists, or as the pastor of the church called them, Free Will Baptists.
Uh-huh.
And we just went with the church. The pastor and a couple other families all went, including his son, who is now a congressman in my state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I talk to him all the time, actually. He's not my congressman. He's one district over, but he can still talk to the guy for me. So we went over there for that. We were over there for about, I think, 11 days with travel. So we were only over there for about a week, actually, with all the travel. But it was great. The thing that sucked is the airline decided it would be a great idea to lose our luggage for the first 2 days we were there.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
That's awesome.
And it's nice, and the weather there is just nice and cool and comfortable, so you don't sweat your ass off or anything. No. So we literally had to take showers in our clothes because they were pretty bad. Or we have one guy run down to the
something for yourself.
Well, the problem is in our luggage is where all of our stuff was.
Oh,
so all of our extra money and everything was actually in the bags, not in his carry. We had some, but most of it was in the bag.
Carry-ons with.
Well, the underwear was in the bags too.
All your money should be on you at all times.
But I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about travelers' checks and stuff that. But what we had to do is just get all that replaced, and that took time. So anyway, what we did is what we wound up doing is we would just have one person stay dressed, and everybody would run the clothes down and wash them, and they'd run up the clean clothes, and then somebody else would run down the dirty clothes and wash those in like the hotel washroom.
Yeah, sure.
And then eventually they got us our clothes, which was wonderful. But yeah, we were over there for a while. We went to obviously like Jerusalem. We went to Jordan. We went into Syria to go to Damascus. We went to Jericho because they found Jericho now.
Oh, long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, this was 20 years ago. So let's see, where else? We went to Caesarea, and we saw one of the Roman aqueducts that are still mostly standing there. We went, and then on the way back, we went to, because the way we went back, we went over Europe to London, and then from London to Detroit. And so we stayed in London for a day, and then like toured around London, like went to the Tower of London and everything. Problem was, all that travel and all that heat, I was exhausted, so I pretty much just slept through all that. I didn't see hardly any of it. And then when we, on the way back, and this has never happened to me before, I've been flying on planes my whole life, I got really sick, like really sick, on the way back from London to America. So I was basically in the bathroom for like 12 hours. It's ridiculous. And then, yeah, we came home, and it was pretty cool. I'd love to go back. My father and I wanted to go to Egypt, but we didn't have the time or the itinerary for it, and just look around in like Alexandria and all those places. But it was a great trip. If you're a person of faith, if you're a Christian person, I recommend going to the Holy Land at least once in your life. It's very interesting to go to places that they believe are where Jesus was actually at.
Sure.
Like Golgotha and his actual tomb that most modern scholars think is his, not the one where the church is. That one's not it. Places like that were pretty cool. We were baptized in the River Jordan, in the place they believe Jesus was baptized according to the biblical account, which was pretty cool. Because we had our pastor there too, so that helped. So yeah, it was a great trip. I mean, I was like 13, so 22 years ago, but it was still awesome. I'd love to go back over to the Middle East. I'd like to go to Iran and go into some of that old stuff, but jeez, the government there is not something. Yeah, it's not something you want to deal with. I just mean like the historical sites would be cool to visit.
Yeah, I'd love to go to Persepolis. I just wouldn't have to do the jump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to travel. If I had the means to do it more regularly, I would. Even internationally, like I'd love to go back to the Mediterranean. That water is unbelievable. It's the most beautiful body of water I've ever seen. And I've been all over. I've been all the way to the Caribbean. I've been all the way, up and down this side of the world. So I would love to go back. I highly recommend it for anybody who's never gone. At least go see the Mediterranean because it's gorgeous. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's true. I spent a summer in Greece, but
yeah.
it's beautiful. The Aegean Sea is amazing. But actually, there's a couple little points you mentioned I'd like to touch on. But let me catch. There's a couple things in chat I want to catch first before we continue. Cult film video says just listen to last night's stream, and Busby needs to be locked up for his sexual deviancy. You don't change horses midstream. Okay, well I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm sure you're right. That's probably I go with that. Buddy Lord says, best beef that wherever I traveled. I like to live as the residents do. That's always fun. I feel like you get the more authentic experience that way. But I will never live like people in San Francisco do. No, let's not. Yeah, that's just a fair point. Cult Film Video continues saying, Mexican is only good for American restaurants. Well, most modern Mexican food has nothing to do with the ancient Aztec culture. Of course, it's all Western. But don't tell them that, John. Don't tell John; he'll get mad at me.
It does. It depends on where you're at in Mexico. What we're used to for Mexican food is mostly northern Mexico. You get down farther into like in Jalisco and Ixtapa and all of that, down in there, Yucatan, they have a different cuisine entirely. And then the coastal cuisine is I love the coastal cuisine, both on the west and the east coast. So. And if you're wondering why I know all this, I have a lot of family. I've been to every state in Mexico in my youth and like 20s. So
you're Mormon, so you're one of 10 children, I'm sure. Yeah.
I am an anomaly within Mormons. I am an only child.
Oh my God. That's illegal, I thought. Anyway,
It usually is, yes.
yes. Cult Film Video says Southern Baptist, by the grace of God, none of this Yankee Baptist crap Busby's been pushing. Sweet. Victor says he wants to visit Stonehenge and the pyramids. Well, actually, if I may take a moment for that right there, Stonehenge is fine, but it is like the least interesting thing of the Neolithic in that
Yeah,
part of the world, dude. If you
there's so
go,
much stuff around.
my
Holy
God,
cow!
if you go to Southwest Britain, it's just walk. Just take a walk, and you're going to run into so much cool stone stuff that you'll forget Stonehenge instantly. And actually, in West Britain, over in Wales, is even bigger and better stuff than Stonehenge. And then if you should deign to just take a step across the water there and go to Ireland, well, you just hit the jackpot, baby.
And
But
there's stuff up in Scotland as well. So I mean,
there
it's all
is,
over
yeah,
the
yeah.
place,
But
all over the British Isles.
well, because they really push Stonehenge as a tourist attraction, but it's literally the least interesting one. It's really shocking to me because there's so much stuff, but they don't promote it. It's Stonehenge, Stonehenge, Stonehenge. I don't understand.
And
Uh,
if you want to go some really old stuff, you might want to go to Sardinia.
oh God,
They have,
Sardinia. No, actually, the oldest stuff on the planet is in Ireland, dude.
well, well,
But
okay,
Sardinia is good
whatever you
too.
do.
I agree. Yeah. But no, I'm just saying, go to Stonehenge, but go to all of it. There's actually like a trail. Well, it's a very long one, but it's kind of like a trail you can drive, and it's absolutely shocking because the southwestern tip of Britain is a moor. It's a giant moor, and therefore, people have never built on it because it's very inhospitable. It's hard for modern people to live in it. So it's untouched. It's just sitting there, open ground. They got roads, of course, connecting some
Are you
towns and
talking about
stuff.
Cornwall?
I'm talking about that the whole region, because there's no one living in it. So it's unspoiled, it's untouched. It's how it's been for thousands and thousands of years. If you want to go look at Neolithic stuff, go to there. You can start in Stonehenge and then just head southwest. And I'm telling you, you could stop anywhere along the road and just go take yourself an hour hike around the area, and you'll run into all kind of stuff. It's just literally thousands and thousands of cairns and stone circles and stone ways, and oh my God,
Oh
it's
no,
a
not carrots. No.
no. Well, wait, stay away from the cairns. That's right. Nick says, "This is the worst D&D game played on this channel ever." Well, thanks, Nick.
Sorry, Nick.
Sorry, Nick. Yeah, yeah. Did Bob kill anything or do? No, we're not. We're not playing today, obviously. What was the other thing that came up on one of? I've kind of lost track of myself. Oh, Jericho. Now, Jericho Thunder, very interesting dude. Um, that site is such a consternation to the official anthropology, because it's super super old, right? And they actually claim Jericho as being the oldest inhabited city on the planet. It's not true, but they can't. These official historians, they're kind of locked in a box, right? Because
Yeah.
they'll lose their job if they say the wrong thing. But Jericho has been labeled as the oldest one. But the problem they have is they try to explain that how this city existed in a time that they said that we were barely getting out of hunter gatherers, and it was the very beginning of agriculture, which is stupid. But it's a real Jericho is such consternation for them because it contradicts them all the time. So yeah, if you guys ever have a chance to get to the Middle East, go check out Jericho because it's quite an important site in archaeology because it stresses the accepted narrative, right? Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, when we were
How,
there,
how far back does Jericho go? I mean, I always heard that Damascus was the oldest, but I mean, what do I know?
no, not 9,000 years.
9,000.
Yeah, it's
Are they?
probably older
Is
than
it?
that.
Is it still inhabited? Does it have a big old tell or what?
Yep, no, there's people who've been there the whole time because it's a water source in the middle of the desert.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a little town, but it's been
yeah, it's
there
not
forever.
big.
Yeah,
It's not big at all. It's surprisingly small.
yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. The best part about the whole trip, though, well, besides the fact that a bunch of Arab guys thought my father was Arab because
Sweet.
he's a big, very dark-haired man with a gray and white beard
Perfect.
So he kind of looked the part, especially when we bought an actual head towel, and he was wearing it, or head scarf, whatever they're called.
That's
Because I mean, you have to have something on your head, or you're gonna burn, especially a white person. And we had hats and everything, but he just decided to get one and put it on. But anyway, besides that, and then besides walking through Jerusalem, and the men literally cornering one of the other guys, because we were with another group from another church too, and basically not cornering him, but surrounding him, and just reaching into all of his pockets trying to get his stuff out, like right in front, just walking down the street like it was a normal day. That's how lawless some parts of that city are.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, the craziest thing was there's no real like road laws in some of these places. So what we had is on the side of this mountain, maybe just barely enough to fit 2 buses. I mean, just barely. Like the wheel looked like it was hanging off the side of the mountain a little bit. We were driving, one going one way, one going another way, around corners on the sides of these. Well, they're hills. They call them mountains, but on the sides of these mountains, to where you could literally look out the window and all you saw was straight drop.
Mm.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We take for granted the civilization that we have in America.
We do.
Right? Because that really wouldn't fly pretty much anywhere in this country except for like really backwater places. And these places weren't that backwater. They're right outside, maybe 10 miles outside the city. So it's pretty crazy how even a modern country like Israel, they still have places that they pretty much do whatever they want because they just can't regulate it. There's not enough not enough manpower or whatever.
Yeah, no, policing. Oh my God, don't do it, Tondero. Don't do it. But no, I mean, all these idiots that get out there and say America was never great, they've clearly never left the country.
Correct.
I mean,
well, they've never, and if they have, they've gone to Europe or Japan, right? They've gone to other very civilized countries, and they just don't know what they're talking about. They've never been to places where there is very little civilization, very little actual human development, and there's still people there. There's people been living there thousands of years, and yet for whatever reason, they're still living like cavemen practically.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. Ninja, where you been to, dude?
Ninja.
Yes, I am here. I've just been muted because I have kids running around, and
we love
I feel it'd be more appropriate to, sometimes they can be yelling at each other and be a little bit sassier than they need to be.
So where have you been, Ninja?
Just listening along. Actually on my phone.
Where have you traveled to, Ninja?
Oh, the farthest I've ever been to was Texas, from Pennsylvania. That's where I reside. I did live in North Carolina for a while. So
you lived in North Carolina? Did you run into the Bojangles Mafia?
Fortunately, I was able to avoid the Bojangles Mafia.
That's good. Okay, safe.
So, yes. I kept my nose clean and avoided trouble as often as I could.
Sure.
When I was down there. But no, the South is a wonderful place. I actually enjoyed my time down there pretty much.
It's a weird
place,
Ninja. It's a weird
People are a lot more polite down in the South than they are up here in the North. I noticed that
until
right
you
away.
turn your back and walk away, and then they talk about you constantly. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, like you can wave to anybody who's walking down the street in the South, and they'll wave
very
back.
Hospitable,
Not so much around here.
No. See, what's wrong with Pennsylvania? We don't have that problem over here in Ohio. You darn Pennsylvanians. We wave to each other all the time. No big deal. Well, I grew up out in the country too, so for me that's normal, right? Because out there, you see somebody coming down the street, you just wave to them. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? One time I got yelled at by my parents when I was a kid because the Schwann's truck was driving around. I don't know if you guys know what Schwann's is. But basically, it's just like a door-to-door. They sell ice cream and dairy and stuff.
Sounds like some Jewish sexual term.
So anyway, they were driving by, and I just waved at them, just not even thinking about it. And the guy pulled in the driveway, tried to sell us stuff. My dad yelled at me for it.
That's funny.
They were mad because they thought you were going to cost them money over a way.
Lady Celtic Queen says,
That's
"Hey,
great.
I live in the South." Yeah, well, no, the South's got plenty of good things about it, but it like anywhere else, it's got its nuance, doesn't it? And for me, the only troubles I have with the South, because Ninja's right. There's a lot of really nice. The hospitality is real. The people are very kind and friendly. The only problems I had when I lived in Mobile, Alabama, by the way. But the only problem I had was, if coming from New England, was that this thing where as soon as someone walked away, everyone started talking about them. It was weird for me, right? And the other thing was, I don't know if this is good or bad, but the blacks and whites agreed to segregate themselves from each other. It was like a mutual agreement, and it was like we don't like you, and we don't like you, and we're just going to stay away from each other. That's my memory of the South, and that's about all bad I got to say about it because the food's awesome. I don't
I'll
know.
tell you right now, if I could pick one place to live besides here, which I'm thinking about moving from here anyway. But if I could pick one place to live, it'd be Tennessee. I love Tennessee.
It is nice.
I love the people down there. There's countries you can get without being straight up hicks and hillbillies. Some of them are, but most of them are that you deal with anyway, like in businesses and stuff. The mountains are amazing. I would love to live in the mountains. I was just talking to my neighbor the other day actually because I was charging my truck because the battery died in it because it's been sitting for like 2 months. And so I was talking to my neighbor, and we were talking about it, and it's just something about those mountains. When I'm down there in them, I feel better. Like just physically, I feel better. I can feel the energy in the air down in those mountains. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. But he's like, yeah, totally. I get the same way. I'd love to live down there in the mountains.
It
I
might be
just if I
minus
could move
ion.
anywhere, that'd be where it is. What's that?
It might be minus ion. It's positive ion is something that comes with the rain. Is why you always feel kind of gloomy in the rain. But if you have a negative ion location, which there are, it's where you get the idea of the power spot is coming from. It's actually the negative ion that's giving you a good feeling. And those are great places to live. Yeah, good for your body. But of course,
Yeah, and it feels it's like I can see why ancient people would go to those places and worship, right? Because you feel better. Like spiritually, you can feel better, or whatever spirituality actually is chemically in your body. You feel that when you're there, right? You know how they can like induce spiritual ideas or whatever
Sure.
experiences with drugs. It's kind of just natural for me there. Now, some people are the same way with water, like they like being by the water. I'm not like that though. I don't mind it. I like being by fire and I like being by mountains. They just calm me. I stay calm by them.
Well, it's also where the science behind pyramid power, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are great places. Of course, here in Japan, you have all the ancient shrines that are still around. They haven't been, bulldozed over. The culture kept them. All those places are in those kind of
Hmm.
minus eon places. So when you go there, you feel it, right? Yeah, it's
Well,
real cool.
I grew up around mountains. Like where I live, there's a big line of mountains called the Wasatch Front,
Hmm.
and they're not huge. They're not like the Tetons or something like that, or in the interior of Colorado, but they're definitely kind of a bulwark. I grew up with them, and they give me security. And I've had people come here, and they go up near the foothills where they build stuff on them, and they're afraid the mountain's going to fall on you. Which occasionally the mountain does shift, but overall for me, like when I get here, there's a specific mountain called Timpanogos that is home. You know what I mean? When I see it, I know I'm home. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah, no. Cult Film Video says my friend is streaming under the title "Deadliest Day in Chicago's History." Random aside. Yeah, no, I think we're doing our best to stay away from that stuff. We're just having ourselves a happy, friendly conversation, trying to re-energize our batteries, maybe. Just talking about our families and food and just kind of standard stuff. But yeah, no, we're well aware. Cult Film Video. Yep, well aware.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But oh my. But staying on this topic though, uh, I've I'm a very lucky person. I visited some places in the world when I was at university because I was actually got chosen by my professor to help go out and work on some archaeological digs, which basically means I was just lugging heavy weights around mainly. I was a slave, or servant probably would be the word he would use, but no, I was a slave. But so I went to a few different places. I went to Gobi Desert, and well, anyway. But I've also, as a musician, I travel all over the world. And then when I met my wife and we got married, we did a lot of traveling before we settled down. So what that means is I've kind of touched every section of the world, not every country, but I've been in Asia, I've been in the all over the Pacific, all over the Atlantic. So I've seen lots of different things, and I have to tell you, from what I think Thundero said it, the most beautiful water and spot I have ever seen in my life was the frickin' Aegean, dude. That summer I spent in Greece, it just blows you away how gorgeous it is, and that's
Yeah.
take into account West Florida, because that's some pretty
Yeah.
gorgeous water over there too, dude. But the
The
Aegean
Aegean
is
is
special.
beautiful.
Yeah.
The Tyrrhenian is beautiful. Over off the Costa del Sol in Spain is beautiful. Not so much in the Adriatic where everything kind of silty and at the top of it, but as you get down towards the boot and off the coast of the old Yugoslavia and Croatia and Montenegro, all that's just beautiful water. I did a big old tour, and and he's right. The Aegean is something to see.
It
It
is.
really is.
It is. And poor Ninja's never been nowhere.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's a shame, brother.
Just been able to enjoy the good old US of A. Oh well.
Well, the good news is the USA is the most beautiful country in the world.
Yeah, well, that's
It's
true.
true.
It's
There's
not
so
even.
much to see.
It's not even close as
Yeah.
when you talk about like comparatively with everything that's here. There's more wonders, natural wonders here than maybe China. Maybe. Other
I
than
don't know.
that,
I love our
nah.
country, and there's a lot to see. You're right, but I mean, I've been quite a few places like Chester, and there's always something beautiful to see. I mean,
Yeah.
you go to the Dolomites; they're the kind of the Alps of Italy,
Mhm.
and they're just dynamically gorgeous mountains and a range, and then they have the lake country, which is just amazing.
Yes, it is. It is beautiful. Yeah.
So I mean, every country I've gone to, well, with a few exceptions, has been they've had something that was cool. And the Mediterranean is somewhere I could, if I had money, I'd just buy a boat and cruise around the Mediterranean for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I plan on sailing the Mediterranean when I get a little older here. But Mediterranean is beautiful, as long as it stays, non-hostile, because then it's not good. But
Indeed.
Yeah.
yeah, but here's the thing, Ninja. That's absolutely true. America is the variety of locations in America is amazing. It is very true statement. But one of the problems, I don't know if it's a problem. Well, no, one of the problems with America is the vast majority of Americans have never left their state.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a problem because that creates a very insular, inward thinking. And seeing as they have no experience of outside things, they've never left the country, they have no idea of any other cultures. Because actually, one of the things that these lefties say all the time that's actually true is interacting with other peoples and other cultures does broaden your mind. Now, living with them is a whole nother matter, but interacting with them is actually good for you because it does broaden your thinking and allows you to see more of what because if you don't have that, your ideas in your mind are kind of narrow, right?
Yeah.
So
I would certainly agree with that.
yeah.
Well, I used to encourage everybody to go to college back when I thought college was not, going to indoctrinate you and make you, brain rot. Today, I encourage people if they're going into STEM or something like that, or law or medicine. But I mean, now what I encourage people to do is actually travel, as long as in safe areas and when we don't have all this craziness going on. Go travel, expand your world by seeing how good you have it. Because you'll go to other places which are gorgeous, but then you'll kind of experience their cultures and in some ways how they might have something that are a little bit better than us, but a lot of things that they don't have that we have. In North America, above the border of Mexico, is very blessed. Mexico could be blessed, but their culture kind of precludes it. and I know this because I have family down there, and
Mhm.
I know about the stratification of their culture. It's very much almost like a caste system,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's very hard to be upwardly mobile. And so, with all the resources that this country, that Mexico has, which it should be, with all of it that it has, it should be first world, but it's not, and it's stayed that way for 500 years.
And it will
There's a reason,
continue. Yeah,
and it will continue
yeah.
because
This,
they refuse to change
yeah.
certain things, and that's how they are.
Well,
Sorry.
it comes into this conversation you and I were having before the show. That's a major part of their problem, actually. But Victor says, I'm going to say something unpopular, but I want to move to that segregated part of Alabama you were talking about. Well, keep in mind, these are my experiences from 30 years ago. So who knows what it's like now, but I imagine it's similar. But yeah, no, there's a big difference between Americans, whatever color they may be, and this ghetto issue that's going on. It's very different, because if you're living amongst normal Americans, once again, who cares what color they are, they're just Americans, right? So there's no problem, and then everything goes pretty smoothly. But when you do get into those ghetto areas, it's just absolute hell on earth, and it's no one cares to fix it. No one wants to do anything about it, I guess. So,
Nope. And and at halftime, I think it's because they think that they're stuck. Like their mindset gives them this idea that they can't get out of it. They need to be given something. They're owed something, and that breeds a certain just intractability.
it does,
And
yeah.
because of that, you get what you have there, and people get angry because
Yeah.
they can't seem to get out of it. I spent some time in New England, and I lived in Providence.
Ooh.
Chester and I probably have some knowledge of a little. He probably has more than I do, but I remember South Providence. And South Providence, you go over to another part of town where Capitol Hill, not Capitol, Capitol, I can't remember. But if you go to the east side of Providence, it is ritzy. All right,
Oh yeah.
super ritzy, lots of money there,
Capitol Hill's right.
banking,
Yeah.
and then you get Capitol Hill, and then you get people in South Providence. I met people who never left South Providence.
Oh yeah.
They'd never gone downtown. They'd never gone to Cranston or North Providence. They'd never gone to Warwick.
Mm.
They'd never left South Providence, and South Providence was like one of the highest per capita places in the country at the time for crime.
Oh yeah.
And they couldn't get out of their head. And then I asked them, well, why would I want to leave here? And I was like, well, I mean, for me, who I like to travel, I grew up traveling around. I couldn't fathom, and I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that mindset that they couldn't leave their little block, their street that they called their territory. They couldn't leave that area and
Yeah.
go downtown to see the Fleet Bank at the time
No,
because
it's bad. Yeah, it is bad.
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't even go to Central Falls back in the day without a baseball bat on my shoulder, and I'm not joking
no,
at
that's
all.
probably a good idea. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, it's really bad.
Hmm.
But no, it's a mindset, right? And of course, you're talking about a different type of problem there in that area than what I was talking about. But it's the same mindset, though. But what do you got to do? You grow up your whole life, no one has a job, and because they're getting more money from the kids than they are from going to get a job, right? And this whole thing, my mom worked two, three jobs. No, they didn't. What are you talking about, right? They might have did a part-time job occasionally so they could keep their welfare. That's it, right? And you grow up the whole time, and everyone's telling you, you watch out for Whitey, the cracker's going to get you. Your whole life, you're being told this. You have no experience with any other people other than your race group that's in there. Of course, you're going to have problems. What do you expect? Their whole life, they've been told that white people are the enemy. What do you expect? I mean, it's the cesspool that they live in, and they can't think themselves out of it. But it doesn't make any sense because all you have to do is literally get on a bus. Anyway, let's not get on that subject. Model says a lot of mob ties in Providence. I have a lot of family
Oh
up
yeah,
there.
with lots of mob. But
Central Fall
I have a
is really
story. I
bad.
have a story about that. As a missionary tracting around the east side of
Mhm.
Providence, I came to a house. I was let into the house, and there was a man standing by a corner of the door. the young lady let us in. They were Sicilian, and
Oh, sure. There's a
had
lot
a
of
whole
that
bunch
up
of
there.
nice cars out the side of the house, and yeah, I got this just vibe. They were from Palermo, and yeah,
Yeah.
they were mobsters.
Oh, sure. Well, no, model and slick. Uh, Rhode Island is where the mythical, supposedly they don't exist Italian mafia in America. That's where they retire their old people. That's what Rhode Island is. Rhode Island is where there's certain little pockets around Rhode Island where they put their old people. I lived in one. There's a ton of mafia in Rhode Island, and in the end, it benefits a little bit. Actually, it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing because they don't want those areas to have any nonsense because that's where Grandpa is, right? So it's actually kind of benefits you, oddly enough. Yeah, no. Yeah. Now let me give you an story. Let me give you an example of South Providence, right? Um, I had a bunch of friends when I was younger, and they were, well, how can I say this nicely? Drug dealers, drug dealers. So I wasn't a drug dealer, but they were just friends of mine through various other reasons. And we used to hang out and go places. And we went up to this one place because we were going to go to a big party, but they had to stop by and do some kind of something or another, right? So I'm just kind of letting them do their thing, and I'm just sitting in this other room. And this is what the scene looked like. It was absolutely filthy. I was actually just afraid to even sit down. It was so disgusting. I had to use the toilet, which I just had to take a piss, luckily. That thing had not been washed probably ever, right? And then whilst I'm waiting for them to get done with their business so we get the hell out of this damn place, everyone's absolutely blown out on base, I guess, probably what they were doing. I'm assuming it was base, which is a smoked cocaine, I guess. Anyway, there's this girl sitting on a cot, I guess. Well, she was laying on this cot, and she was absolutely filthy. Her clothes were stained all over as if she hadn't changed them in a month, right? She's way out of her mind on whatever drug she was taking, way out of mind. And this guy just got up. He's drugged out of his mind. Went over and he started to take her pants off because he wants to have a little sex, I guess. And she's totally out, right? She's completely out, right? And I'm looking at him like, yeah, you're not doing that while I'm sitting here. And of course, he's high and he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he gave me the typical white boy thing. And I said, dude, I'll crack your head right open. You sit the fuck down. And he did, right? But the thing is, as soon as I left, I knew that they just take rounds on this girl. This kind of shit you run into South Providence, dude. True
Yep,
story. Yeah.
I can attest some crazy shit that I saw in my
Yeah.
short time there.
Really bad. Yeah.
So yeah, there was a Jaguar dealership in South Providence. Now, mind you, I lived in parts of Connecticut as well that that had a Toyota dealership with 12-foot hurricane fences and razor wire on top to where they put all the cars every night in a very nice suburb of Connecticut, right? And if you go to at least when I was there, there was this Jaguar dealership that had a whole bunch of exotics and luxury cars, like Rolls and Bentleys and Ferraris and stuff. They had like a retaining, like a big cable that was threaded through like a post that had loops at the top. That's all they had around, and that's what it kept. Nothing ever got touched because
Oh yeah.
certain people owned that place, and that was one of the highest crime. There was like constant like people breaking it. Yeah, the elders that lived in that area constantly had people breaking into their apartment, looking for just whatever they could find, and they finally moved to Cranston. Moved them up into Cranston. Still were serving that area. And I saw we'd go to the courts there, and we'd play basketball, and people just doing drug dealing all around us while we're doing it. Just that's right out in the open all the time, all in the middle of the day. That was South Providence. So yeah, what Chester's saying is there was crack houses
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it
It's
was.
bad. It's uh there I mean and Roger says that girl must have been really hot. No, she was disgusting. They're a bunch of junkies. But that's not the
Yeah.
point.
Ugh.
That's not the point. She's still a human, right?
Yeah.
Which, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, I've seen a lot of crap in my life. I'm sure you guys all had your experiences too. I don't know why I particularly found myself in all kind of really, really bad situations, but I don't know. But I'm sure it's my fault. Um, every time I rode the bus, I always made sure to sit in the front, never in the back. Well, that's your white privilege, Roger. You see.
Yeah.
Oh God. But anyway, we went off subject a little bit there. But and every time someone comes in, they're like, "Why aren't they D&Ding? Where's the orcs and elves and shit?" I do apologize. Our boss, our DM, had to work a double shift today, so we don't have anything. But we've been having some fun conversations, uh, you know, about interesting things. Any other topic you guys want to cover? Anything you want to talk about that's fun and not
Yeah, it's fun.
depressing?
Let's keep away from the unfun
Yeah.
because it's we've been talking about things that our life and stuff. I mean,
Sure.
the world. There's a lot to be thankful for in the world
Sure.
still, even
Oh,
with
yeah.
all the craziness. You still live in the best time,
Oh,
and for
yeah.
those of us in the United States, I mean, I know a lot of people from other countries get a little annoyed with Americans saying we're the best country, but we do have freedom that is hard to find anywhere else. Let's just put it that way.
Uh-huh.
I've been a lot of places, and I love a lot of places for what I've seen and the people I've come in contact with. But every time I come back to my country, at least I mean, hopefully it'll hold it together, its cohesion. But I've literally been so thankful when I crossed back into the border and I got back in there. And that's any state in the union. Um, and I'm happy to say that people should be grateful for the fact that you have freedoms under the Constitution, you have prosperity that you can do, you can have upward mobility, and you live safely, pretty much more safe than any time in the entire history of man.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's true in most places in the world right now, actually. It
yeah,
is
I mean
safer
the
than it
world
used to be.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Nixie says Artie Bear scored a deal for his black and white animated show. So he finally announced that, huh? Yeah, dude, that is really, really cool. I was really happy for him. He
That's
was telling
cool.
us about that. Yeah, that's really cool, dude. His black and white, they're going to turn it into a kids animated show, and yeah, I won't say anything on it. Let go watch RT Bear and let him do all that. But it's very cool, dude. It's very
He's
cool.
gonna be a rich boy. He's gonna
I
make
hope
all the
so.
money.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's good.
Me too. Art's a
Oh
great
yeah,
guy. He
I hope
deserves it.
we get some black and white Nerf.
Go ahead,
Black
Ninja. Speak up a little bit,
Ninja.
Ninja.
Did we lose him? Yeah.
No, I think he's just throttling children about the head probably right about now. Uh,
All I've said about Art is he has a beautiful daughter. That's all I know.
does he?
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen her before.
Oh, you
She's
should. If you're on there, we were with them on Pontificators, right? Or is that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Ask him to bring a picture of his daughter.
Yeah,
Lovely.
no, Slick, I would never do such a thing. You know that. Goodness gracious, I've seen her before. Just I don't know, just a girl. But she certainly has an opinion. Yep.
It
Uh,
doesn't. She draws as well, right?
I don't know. I don't really don't know. I haven't really delved into his family much. We mainly just talk about our topics and just to each other, you know.
Yeah.
But let's see. Bullet says, "Will it still be allowed to be called black and white, though?" It sounds so. But then again, I only kind of have an idea of on the backstory and characters they're talking about. I don't really know all that other detail. Art, I'm sure it will lay it all out though as it comes to fruition. I'm sure. Yeah. So Ninja, you were going to say something and then you left and then you came back. Have you finished
Oh
speaking?
yeah,
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
was having a little bit of stupid uh, tech difficulties, but no, it's really cool. Maybe we'll get some like black and white Nerf guns, or get that sweet action figure money. I don't know if he can license stuff out.
I'm sure you'll be able to.
You're gonna have pinatas with the characters on it, and crap.
Pinatas.
And
Okay.
that's pretty
Yeah.
darn cool.
Pinatas.
Yeah.
That's okay. That'll be a certain tier,
Well,
right?
they've got Spider-Man pinatas.
They do.
You know.
They do. That is true. I have actually seen an Eeyore pinata, which I thought was pretty cool. Well, it says Black Wives Matter. Well, you know what it should be. Black husbands should matter. How about that one?
Yeah, really.
Did you see this stupid mayor up in Washington? She just spray painted huge, giant Black Lives Matters down the road, and she changed the street sign to Black Lives Matter, and she just trying to poke at Trump, trying to see if he'll do something so she can complain. That's not going to last very long at all. But yeah, yeah, I get you. But yeah, it should be Black Husband Should Matter. That's what it should be. Let's change the name.
Hmm. Black fathers should matter.
Yeah, yeah, or Black fathers. Yeah, sure, make it more direct.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so Ninja, where about in the world do you live? You said you were in
I'm over
North
here
Carolina. You're still in Pennsylvania?
at the moment. Yeah, at the
Oh,
moment, yeah, I'm living in Pennsylvania. Over here in the Amish country.
oh, okay. Yeah. I used to go there all the time when I was younger, dude. I go down hunting there. Yeah. I love those little I don't know what they call them. It's
Oh yeah.
I don't know, it's like an Amish general store, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
those we'd stop into those places because we get like a cabin, or sometimes we even tent. But we kind of get our supplies at those little Amish stores, and then we just go into the mountains and do our hunting. So yeah, yeah, I used to go down there all the time. What do they
Oh,
call
that's
those
pretty
little
cool.
Amish stores? They have a name for it?
That, Amish stores.
Just
That's
Amish
about
markets,
right.
something
That's
like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Man, some
farmers
good.
market. They usually refer to some sort of that stuff as when you're coming
probably
down.
something German,
There's quite a
something.
few farmers markets around. The
Yeah.
actual little Amish. Yeah, they pretty much just call them Amish stores.
Well, dude, there's some really good food. I remember we
Yeah.
used to get like pie at one place that was just outrageous. It was really good. But their like jams and jellies and stuff like that are really excellent.
Yep. I experienced the same thing too when I was traveling
Mm,
through,
yeah.
on this territory.
You ever
Very,
been over
very good
to
food.
Pennsylvania there, Thundera?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to every state in the union except the far northwest and all the way to like New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. But I've been everywhere else, or in Alaska and Hawaii. But I'd like to go to Alaska.
Wow, I
Um,
haven't been to that many. Yeah.
yeah, I've been
Uh,
all over the
I,
country.
I made way to all 50. Just traveling around. So yeah. I haven't done I want to do the trip up instead of flying up to Alaska. I want to do the long drive, but I just haven't had the latitude to do so. So I
Yeah.
just want to go through Canada.
Cultville Video says, I figure you and Art were old friends. No, though Todd knew him for a while too. You guys have a great rapport on Pontificators. We do. That show works really, really well. It's a lot of fun. And no, I know it feels that way because we've even mentioned that to ourselves. We feel like old friends because we all just get it. It's so smooth. But no, I just met Art, what, a year and a half ago? Yeah, I'm not old friends at all. But I love him to death. He's a really good guy. He's loyal and honest, hardworking. He's not a jagoff at all. Yeah, I like Art. And I think Todd's probably known him a lot longer. But then again, Todd knows everybody in the industry. I don't know why, but he does. I mean, all our big guests, like we had Graham Nolan on the other day, right? A lot of those big guests you see on either on the Coffee Akihabara or on Art show, Todd's the one bringing those in, not Art. So I don't know where how Todd knows all these people, but he does. But it is a good rapport. It works really, really well. Well, what do you guys think about the Pontificator show? Is it fun?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's fun. It's very smooth. But nope, I've only known Art a short time, but I consider him a friend. I'm glad I did meet him. Yeah, and it's weird because at first it's like I'm sitting on a show with Artie Bear, which as a fan, that's pretty cool. But that's gone, and now it's just having a chat with some friends. So that's cool. Although I was a little teenager like the other day with Graham Nolan on, I have to admit. But I mean, come on, dude. I mean, all the Batman you look at today, and all these modern animated shows, all these movies, it's from him, right? Him and Chuck Dixon. That's the Batman that most people in the world know. I mean, so freaking Graham Nolan, right? Anyway,
Yep.
that was fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know what I mean, Ninja, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You get a little, get a little excited. You know.
Yeah.
I
You
would get
just
that
got
way
to.
for certain people, and others not so much. But
Oh no, of course, but we have been very lucky over here. Look at all the people we've got to meet and interact with, and it's mainly because the older generation of comic book guys, they're very attainable. They're not standoffish. They love their fans and they want to accommodate their fans, and that's one of the things that came out with Graham the other day. I mean, he's got his new stuff going on. He's making money, and good on him, right? But that guy, his fans are most important. They're first and foremost to him, as they should be. And these young ones have totally forgotten that. I actually asked them that question. You and a lot of the older guys, you're like that. You treat your fans properly. You show respect. Would you? And I asked him, why do you think so many of these other creators, these other so-called pros, are attacking and against their customers, their fans? And it was I could see it made him uncomfortable me asking the question. But he did. He answered it perfectly. And he said, I can't speak for them, although we do see some crazy things going on. All I know is my customers are my life. They are what I am. Why would I not? Why would I treat them badly, or something to that account? He said, and of course it was a perfect answer. But yeah, no, it's and then the thing also we hear is Claudio says, Claudio. He says, I like Archie Bear, but I can't stand the way he participates in some of the CG EVS stuff. That is very questionable. But well, I told you he's loyal, right? And that's the type of person he is, and he's loyal to Ethan and the other guys that came in and they helped him out and stuff like that. Although, don't misunderstand it. He understands that there are some ragged edges. He does, but he's a loyal guy. It's just what he is, dude. You know, and I understand that. I understand Claudio's concerns.
well, I mean, there is a lot of stuff going on, and
Yep,
I don't think that he mixes. I mean, when I see him in those circles, he stays a pretty class act, at least
he
from my
does.
perspective.
Yeah,
So, and that good on him because that's the kind of ambassador we need.
oh
A guy
sure.
who does his job, brings out his stuff. I mean, I should take a note on that. And keeps on creating and
Yep.
treats everybody, as far as I can tell, with respect. Every interaction I've had with Art has been one that only reaffirmed that. So
Well, I mean, I think all of us, well, I can't speak for everybody here, but I think most of us here, we remember, right? Whether you're coming from Captain Cummins or directly from Richard or even Ethan, that initial feeling that was going on, which Richard Meyer was pushing, right? Yeah, boy, Zach, right? All that feeling, and that yes, we all agree, we want to see change, we want things to become better, and all that. Those hardcore attacks started coming at him and all of us. That feeling, that initial movement that was Comicsgate, I think we all agree was a great thing, right? And that, I believe, is what Art is keying into, right? And even for me, I wish that's what I want. That Comicsgate is exactly what I support, right? And
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
a movement that was at the beginning. Yeah, the idea of there were
yeah,
certain principles and values involved.
that's right.
Yes, definitely. I would say I've never identified as Comicsgate, but I understand the appeal because that's what I ascribe to myself.
Sure. And Nick makes an interesting point here. He says one of the reason YouTube channels were critical of the industry was because many of the veteran talents were removed from the big two. There might be some truth to that, but keep in mind with Art, he left of his own volition, right? He wasn't kicked out. He just was sick of it and he left and he decided he was going to try to do his own thing. Now he's not making the kind of cash that we see some of these guys making, which I think is unfortunate. But he's still making enough money where if he keep pushing the way he is, he'll make a lot more money than he did in the industry that he was in, what, 38 years, right? So I get this. I understand this, Claudio. But some of us still have that kind of wishful thinking and the hopefulness of that initial idea that Nerd Wonder titled Comics Gate, right? So,
Yeah.
yep. Well,
So,
listen.
any
Yeah, go ahead.
other nice, good things in the offing do we have to talk about?
Well, no,
Um,
I wasn't even going to stay on this long, dude. We just got talking about family and travel and stuff, and it was fun. But
yeah,
Bullet does say, but your boy, ya boy, I mean Richard Meyer, doesn't even consider it a group. He still talks about it as a hashtag or an idea, and that's fine. I honestly haven't listened to Richard in the longest time, dude. But that doesn't matter to me. All of us agree that comic books have taken a wrong turn, and we need to try to help to bring it back if it can. And we'll see. We'll see how it works out because I kind of the type of person who agrees with Thundero. I think that it's all going to come back around eventually, even though the worst days may still be ahead. And although I know this isn't popular, the only question for me is when we do come out on the other side, will Marvel Comics still be Marvel Comics, or will it be something that is simply a subcontracted out, thing? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. You have an opinion on that, Thundero? No, no, no. He's eating his
I'm
steak.
muted. Sorry, I was talking to my wife. I think Marvel will become very much like LucasArts is now. I think Disney's making these moves pretty obviously as well. What they'll do is Marvel will still exist, but their job will be to handle all the licensing and distributions of the
Right.
licensed products, like LucasArts does now. LucasArts
Yeah.
doesn't make anything anymore; they just license and make sure everything is up to snuff or whatever.
Sure.
I think that's what it'll do. They might still produce some things like their major brands, but I don't. Maybe keep on a couple like Die Hard, really good, quality veterans or something. But I just don't see it. I don't see why. I don't see any reason for Disney to do it. To not do that. If they were willing to do it to LucasArts, one of the most successful and well known and beloved gaming companies, like they made all the digital media for Lucas products, right, for Star Wars, or they licensed it out. If they were willing to do it to them, I really see no reason why they wouldn't do it to Marvel Comics. Like I don't see anything special about Marvel Comics that's going to prevent Disney from doing that. That doesn't mean Marvel's going to go away as a brand.
No,
The brand isn't going anywhere. The brand's stronger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But the actual comics publishing and all that'll probably, it might not, but that, in my opinion, I think it'll probably fade away in time.
Yeah, the funny thing about it though, there's a lot of people in this community that hate the concept of it and will literally argue with you about it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
You can have an opinion. But if you look at it logistically, it might actually be a good thing for the comic books.
Correct. Because if somebody other than Marvel is handling, the product, they'll work with other ways of distribution. Like we've talked about, it would make a lot of sense for Amazon to get involved in either buying Kickstarter or starting their own company that does the same thing. And then you could literally run a Kickstarter for a comic book and then distribute it through Amazon directly. Like they could set that up easy. Amazon could do that easily. They do it with books and stuff now all the time.
Sure.
Publishing houses work directly with Amazon, and then or the printing houses and publishing houses, all that work directly with Amazon. Amazon then sends it through their facilities. Through, in America, the Postal Service or whatever is the cheapest. Usually the Postal Service for them because they get a sweetheart deal. And yeah, you can get your product even here in Ohio where I'm at. If it's local, I can have it next day. Some places you can have it same day if you ordered early enough. That's how ridiculously efficient Amazon's distribution network is. They're probably the best in the world. And it would be very interesting. I hear somebody, but I can't. Let me finish this real quick. It'd be very interesting.
Lift up his mic.
It'd be very interesting to see what that would look like. I think you would see a whole lot. You want to talk about a diversity in product? Well, take away the thing that kind of hangs over everybody's head, which is the retail part. Retail is just, it's not the way we've done retail our whole lives and the way we grew up. That's done. That's over. That's like the horseback carriage, right? Back in the day when the car was invented. Took a little while, but eventually the car just basically invalidated it completely, except for niche like tourist stuff. And there's a reason for that, because people want the most efficient way to do things. That's just how people are. They're not going to wait 2 weeks if they don't have to, if they can have it in 2 days. Some people might if they're cheap, like me, but most people aren't like that. They'll pay the little bit extra money and get it as fast as possible if it's something they really want. but they'll also use the service that is the most efficient and the most advanced. There's a reason the Pony Express doesn't exist anymore. There's a reason why even in like parcels, in logistics, there's only a few major companies, but there are still smaller ones you can use if you want to take the chance. But for the most part, when it comes to shipping most things, you're using one of three companies if you consider the Postal Service a company in America, and then you might use DHL or one of the smaller, second tier ones. But there's a reason for that, and that reason is efficiency, and people want to be as efficient as possible. I genuinely think that if Disney decides that they don't want to be in the comic book business directly anymore, it would be better for us as fans, because I think we would get more quality product and less just filler that they put out just so they're putting stuff out. Right. We see this all the time, and I think Todd, he's mentioned this. They put out stuff sometimes just to see what will happen. Well, that's stupid. That's just dumb, and it's not modernized. That's not how you should do business in 2020. Right? You shouldn't be doing that. You should have it tested, ready, know that it's going to work, or be very confident that it's going to work, and then go from there. Because there's just too much competition for people's attention. You can't put out a product and just, oh, well, okay. Even video game companies are starting to realize this. Right? For years, they put out games that were broken. Couldn't play them. They go, well, we'll patch it right away. They still do day one patches, but they know that if that game isn't up to snuff, at least the big guys, they're going to have that patch ready for you instantly as soon as you put it in. And it will be at least playable most of the time. There's exceptions, but by and large, even they caught on to this, that it's just not, the market won't tolerate it. People won't, and by market, I just mean people. People won't tolerate it forever. You have to deliver a quality product, or they're just going to be, see ya. I'll find somebody who will.
A lot of corporations are missing, especially that produce media. There is, with YouTube and with the different social media platforms, there's massive amounts of feedback. Now, you do have to wade through it to get a good kind of, bird's eye view of the landscape. But once you have it all put in and plugged in, they should be using that to be able to gauge what will work and what won't. And I'm not sure why they're not doing it in larger, because obviously for the last little while they've been fighting with almost in every media platform, media type, genre, against it. They seem to think that they know better. And I'm just like, they do focus groups all the time back in the day. And then you have this gigantic focus group that's giving you feedback constantly. Why aren't you using it? And I find it weird that is not being done.
GOP, you wanted to say something?
Yes. All right. So I have an idea.
You need to talk up in your mic. It's very low.
Oh, I'm sorry. My stupid phone. My bad. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got an idea. All right. We pay SpaceX to launch our comics into orbit. And then they get put into capsules and drop down on our doorsteps. Now you might be saying, okay, it isn't really financially feasible or probably not safe, but it would be freaking cool.
It would be.
And that's my counter argument to that argument.
That's a good counter argument. I appreciate it. That's funny. Just over here in the chat has opinion as well. Cult Film Video says Art left Super Sons and other DC titles for CG. Well, to be fair, Super Sons was canceled by Bendis. And I'm sure that put consternation under him. I know that it did. But anyway, he's always had my support for that. Plus, his comics were some of my first purchases as a kid. Well, if you own more than 2 comics, you probably have an RT Bear book. I mean, just to be fair, I mean, he's worked on everything. Literally, we actually were going over in one show with him what comic book characters he hasn't done. And the only ones he hasn't done are like team books like Justice League. I mean, every character you name, he's done it. So you probably, everyone here probably owns an RT Bear book, actually. I still own cable issues Art worked on. Yeah, exactly. Amazon should totally buy Kickstarter. I agree, and hire Todd. Now, come on now. Let's not stroke his ego any more than it already is. I mean, it's bad enough, right? Come on. Now, having a plan and direction probably important. I agree, but that means you need leaders to guide the ship. That's a problem. And Dave says, "I like it." GOP, you have a fan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, I can
Eventually
deflate
we're
his
gonna
ego
have
real quick.
No,
Would you like me to do that?
please do not do
GOP
that.
often thinks right out of the box and
Yes.
out of the planet.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. Poor Todd.
Oh,
But
by the way, oh sorry.
go ahead, dude. Yeah.
By the way, what did you think of Booster and I's little announcement?
I didn't see it. Tell me about it.
No, he told you.
I don't listen to him. Come on now.
Booster is doing a cover for White Lily #5.
Yeah. He is. And I'm
He
really
is.
I'm
Wait,
glad.
what?
Yeah, I know. I'm
Yep.
glad you guys talked him into doing it actually. Because it's hilarious. Uh, I keep telling him he needs to get with Matt Weldon and do something with that thuggish Kiwi design that Weldon did. He should do a book on that. People would buy it. Thunder and I were trying to convince him of that the other day, huh?
Yeah, yeah. He has our little booster Kiwi. He plays like he doesn't, but he has self confidence issues.
He does.
He doesn't realize that pretty much people only tune into this show to listen to him.
Yep.
That's true.
He's a very
Yeah,
And I
popular boy.
realize that's why I commissioned him for a cover.
Yeah. No, but we know that Booster he's very funny and verbose and gregarious on the show, but he doesn't have very much self confidence whatsoever. We do try to push him and try to help build it up because he is very popular, as he should be, because he's funny and he's genuine and he's kind, and the whole thing is hilarious. I really think he should because I would buy it, wouldn't you guys?
sure.
Yeah, a Matt Weldon drawn comedy with a badass Kiwi. Come on, dude. In
It
a
writes
heartbeat.
itself.
It writes
Good point.
itself, dude. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. But just remember, if you guys want to get the very collectible first cover that Booster Kiwi is going to be, our boy Booster is going to be doing, I'm gonna be selling like 97. Well, I had to buy like 100,
hmm
so I'm keeping 2. I'm sending one to Booster, and I'm gonna be like selling the other 97.
Please. That's awesome,
So
dude. Yeah.
yeah.
And there you go. Bullet is the one that colored the pick, and he's offering to color the book. Awesome. Bullet did a great job on that, by the way. If you guys haven't seen that colored Matt Weldon Kiwi that's beating up Sonic, it's really cool, dude. It's a great piece.
Nice.
Yeah, the coloring is excellent too, Bullet. But yeah, no, we got to keep pushing on him, get him to do something because yeah,
What was that
yeah,
tagline, GOP? Get these
Huh?
mother effing lesbians off these mother effing planes. Yeah.
we were discussing possible things that could be put on the cover. There's gonna be a lot of little Easter eggs.
I'm
So
sure. And there's some Easter eggs I cannot talk about here that I don't know if the creator of White Lily would be appreciative of. But
oh
yeah, yeah. But we'll see what the Kiwi gets away with, I suppose. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Video games.
Don't get Thundero
Comics.
started. Go video games. Go. Let's see.
Comics. Something. I don't know.
No, video games is good. Or we're going to be shutting down here in a couple minutes anyway. But might as well finish out
Okay.
the block, I suppose. But yeah, video games. What video games you guys playing? How about you, GOP?
I've been playing a lot of Wasteland 2.
Ooh. Now,
It's a lot. It's
Wasteland 2, is
pretty.
that the new one?
Well, they're. I don't know exactly when it's actually going to be out. Wasteland 3. I know it's supposed to
Oh,
be
okay.
soon
Okay.
if it isn't out already. But yeah,
So you're
Wasteland 2's been out for 2 years.
okay, so all right, so you're pumping yourself up is what you're doing. Yeah. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people are excited about that the new version of Wasteland now.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it'll
It's a
be
good
better than
time.
that
Well, 2
frickin' Borderlands debacle. God,
is.
idiots, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand why these it's the same thing in comics, but I don't understand why these video game guys will take something that works and just radically rip it out and do something the opposite of it. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to talk about that game that shall not be named because they'll strike your channel,
Oh yeah.
you know.
And they think that's going to help their sales, right?
The
Let's
first
just
of
pay
those
the
people is that you're talking
yeah.
about?
No, yes, that one. A freaking Sony, dude. I mean, and you know the thing that pisses me off. I've actually talked to my wife about this before, because they moved the Sony headquarters to Anaheim, I believe, or Pasadena, one of those two. But
Uh-huh.
the Buchos, or sorry, the bosses here in Tokyo, we don't understand what the hell they're doing. Because why are you letting these absolute idiots over in California run your business into the ground over and over and over? Sony movies aren't making money. Well, occasionally they get one, but they're losing money in general. Their animation is losing money in general. They're just ticking people off left and right, and I understand why those buchos don't get on it. I mean, I really
Well,
don't.
the thing is, it's like their secret. The reason why you don't understand why they're doing it is because they also don't understand why they're doing it. They're just doing it, and you know what? It's fun to watch. It is. It sucks that we have so many games that are just end up being terrible. But on the flip side, it's I guess you just want to if you want to watch everything burn down, then now is a great time for it. I guess
Well,
I'd rather have the games, but you know.
Well, I think with the bosses in Tokyo, I think the problem is they're a bunch of old guys and they don't understand modern zeitgeist, and they understand that, and that's why they let
Yeah.
because they know their money, their bread is buttered in America, and they let these Americans run it because they think that they know what's best and what they don't. But it's almost like I want to send a Japanese, written in Japanese, a letter to them and kind of laying out why. I might, maybe I don't think it would
You,
matter,
you
but maybe I should
you
do that.
should do that
Yeah,
because you have the wherewithal and the the understanding of their culture to
yeah.
kind of lay out what is happening and why they're probably just shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, sure, and I actually know how buchos think here in Japan. I know their process, so yeah, maybe I will because it's dumb. But they must have those board meetings where they're looking at these diminishing returns. It's very bizarre to me because it's so un-Japanese. If Sony had been bought or had been completely usurped by these Californian lunatics, that I would understand, but I know that the ultimate control of the business is still with a bunch of old dudes in Tokyo. I know this. It's very bizarre, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? If anyone can save the video game industry, it's you, Chester. We believe in you. We all believe in you.
Chester Busby can
Well,
save video
You need to
games.
take on all of California.
yeah, well, that probably would be a bloody affair. The but no, but there might be another side to it. It could be this. Because one thing that does happen here is Sony and other Japanese gaming companies, they do make a lot of games that you can only get in Japan. They're made for the Japanese audience. Understand a lot of the games we play, the Japanese don't even know exist, right? So
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of these games. So maybe Sony, these bosses are simply saying, well, we don't know what those weird Westerner people are doing, so we'll let the weird Westerners handle it, and we're just going to keep catering to our people here in Japan directly, which they do. It could be some of that. It could be some of that, right? And you're right. Bullet says the third-party Japanese game studios are pissed that they have to answer to the American studios now. No, they can't stand it, and they don't. They might make some adjustment, but they don't change it here in Japan whatsoever for certification and censoring. Yeah, yeah. Sony is censoring games that Nintendo isn't in America. They are, and that's because it's coming out of California, not Tokyo, right? But like I said, it might be just as simple as what I laid out. They just kind of divorce themselves from it, let the Americans deal with the West, and they're just focusing on Japan. Because they put out a lot of games here that you've never heard of, right?
yeah.
And they have lots of titties.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah. They love their titties here. That's for sure.
Well, we
Uh,
love our titties here. Damn it! California's ruining our titties.
There's no longer any jiggle physics, and that's so sad.
What? So the breasts are just static? You need jiggle.
Yeah, you do.
That was a technological advancement.
Yeah, I mean, it frankly was one of the greatest leaps in video games. So.
Yeah, no,
I'm not even a gamer, and then I know about that. I'm involved in like raging intense sessions of Pong because I'm old.
Yeah, it's true.
And
it's
what
true.
would Pong be without jiggle physics? I mean,
That's right.
Indeed.
That's
what
right.
would it be
Yeah.
when that ball started, doing its thing?
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, come on now. Jiggle physics are as important as ragdoll physics. Anyone want to argue that? Go ahead.
No one's arguing against that.
No.
Yeah. Cult Film Video says White Lily is a good comic. I don't care about the beef between creators. I'm here to support indie art and fascism after all. True. No, White Lily actually is not a bad comic at all. It's quite well written. I
It's an
import a lot of
interesting
games.
story.
Good, Bullet. It is interesting. It's historical.
My artist was quite interested in it because he's Russian, and it's telling a story about his people that has never actually been told in any form of media at all, other than like historical records and things. So he was very pleased to contribute to some image to Preston, and therefore.
Yeah. No, Preston did his research, man. He did it there and did his due diligence. That's for sure. Well, anyway, we're coming up. We're at the end of the show here, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Unfortunately, we didn't have our D&D today because our DM was working. But I had a night. I feel better. We had a nice little conversation. We talked about some fun things and a little bit about comics. So let's go through here and have everybody get their closing statements, and then let me see who wants the namaste today. Now, has Ninja ever namasteed? Ninja?
I don't know.
Ninja?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you
ever
just having
before?
Some technical difficulties.
Have you ever namasteed us out before?
Sort of. Don't put that pressure on me.
No, the pressure is on you squarely, sir.
Yes, you have to namaste.
You are namasteing today, so I'll come to you last. So think about it.
You better think of something.
Yep. GOP, give your closing comments, dude.
About that booster cover, yeah. We should have some more details within the next week or so. So if after that point, if you want to get a copy, then hit me up on Twitter. I'll give everyone more details when we're a little bit closer to know exactly what we're gonna do. So,
sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Slick.
Yeah. Everybody try to stay happy. Go out and get some fresh air because I think everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Spend some time with some family and some loved ones, some friends. And don't worry too much about COVID. I'm gonna be pushing that boundary a little bit, and go out and have some fun. Also, my book's still in demand. We are a little late, but we're getting the last little things done. So there's still some time to go get Little Girl Lethal and my rather adult book out there. So there you go. Thanks.
Awesome. Thundero, sir.
I have literally nothing else to say. Have a good night.
Sweet.
And crash, crash, boom, boom, thunderstrike.
That's right. The smoke rising in.
We gotta get sound effects. We gotta do it.
We do. Yeah, right. But I have to get one of those little soundboards. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming in here. Just listen to this rambling chat. But it was fun. Tomorrow, of course, we have Fan Speak, which we'll be talking about all the stuff that's going on across the industry, not just with comic books, which there's a lot. And of course, we have our drone recorder this week, which is, what is it? Damn it, I have to go look now. Hold on a second, I'll find it.
While you're doing that, I also did want to mention that I do have the Cheesecake Challenge every night, Monday night, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Slick Jimmy Speaks. So go check that out. Also, this kind of dovetails with fan speak with the ultimate challenge.
Drawn and quartered, yeah.
Drawn and quartered, damn it.
Quartered, yeah. Well, this week we're doing Cowboy Bebop. which is quite topical. So that's
Oh.
awesome. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Neat.
Yeah, come back for that. But other than that, let's see. I import a lot of games. Yeah, I wish Junkyard Dunn was in here because he lives in Tokyo and he would have backed me up on that. But nevertheless, thank you guys. Have yourself a safe day and a fun day. And now Ninja is going to namaste us out of here. Go ahead, Ninja. Ninja.
We need some words of wisdom.
All right, you ready? All right, this is a quote from Thomas Sowell, right? It says, nobody is equal to anybody. Even the same man is not equal to himself on different days.
Wow.
Amen.
Amen.
Wise words.
Yeah, wise words. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, Mr. Sowell, thank you very much. All right, guys. Namaste. And
Namaste.
Later.
Hasta la fuego, babies.
Bye-bye now.
Much love.